So again, for this prevention also, first of all, these things you have to advise to the patient: therapeutic lifestyle, smoking cessation, again, physical activity, maintaining ideal body weight, digital behavioral supports, lipid optimization, blood pressure optimization, dash the dietary approaches, limiting the sodium, glycemic optimization. Low dose aspirin for primary prevention is given in high risk women only. Not every woman post menopause should be advised this. Okay. So this again, you have to take the opportunity. A 50-year-old coming to you, you must see their BP, their weight, and advise the test for sugars, right? Lipid profile, sugars, thyroid, all these things you should advise as a routine. Mammography and DEXA scan if they're affordable and you are in a secondary or tertiary center. Right? So where comes the role of hormone therapy in cardiovascular disease? So we know that it is not solely indicated for primary or secondary cardioprotection in women with natural menopause. 47, 48-year-old ke baad somebody has attained menopause. You will not give them MHT just to increase the estrogen and give just for the reason of preventing future cardiovascular disease. But in patients who have had premature or surgical menopause, in those, when you are offering them MHT, you have to tell them that they also have a cardiovascular positive effects. Sometimes it is difficult to convince patients. जैसे किसी को POI हो गया, they say चलो कोई बात नहीं, अब 40 साल पे पीरियड बंद भी हो गए, I have kids, I don't want any more kids. So there you use this primary preventive role of MHT in CVD to convince them to at least take hormones for another 5 years, so that later on the cardiovascular disease doesn't develop. Okay, then what about thyroid disease? Subclinical hypothyroidism, this is an important thing. So routine therapy is not recommended for asymptomatic women with 3SH less than 10. So the cutoff for treatment is not the traditional 5.2 or 5.5 जो cutoff उसमें लिख के आती है. So up to 10 in postmenopausal women who are asymptomatic, you may not treat, right? Just keep testing every 6 to 12 months or get an TPO antibody testing. So this indications will be asymptomatic but TSH more than 10. Some symptoms of hypothyroidism, positive anti-TPO antibodies, other risk factors for cardiovascular. So if they have blood pressure, diabetes, things like that, then you may treat even lesser, right? So then MHT you can give after assessing for all the risk factors. Shalini has a question. My friend had a POI at age 23. We need anything else? And you have to, for this, we have just done the management part, giving E plus P, calcium, vitamin D. So we have done the management part. But for this patient, 23 is, less than 30. If anybody has POI, then you should get a karyotype also. So because suppose she turns out to be, many a times they turn out to be Turner mosaic also without other features of Turner's, right? So then that person will require, maybe an echo or evaluation of kidney function. So other things as well, if she turns out to be syndromic. Then there can be other conditions like autoimmunity, Addison's disease and autoimmune thyroid. These have been associated. So you test for those as well. FMR pre-mutations is also one condition which leads to POI. So again, you can, evaluate them for autoimmunity, karyotyping, and pre-mutation testing to give them some closure of what disease they possibly have, which has led to this, and will also help in genetic counseling of the family members as well, because others might also be carrier and they may risk, right? But otherwise, from treatment point of view, for POI at 23, you have to counsel about the lack of hormones leading to the negative effects on bone, cardiovascular, and this thing. Plus, you have to counsel them about the fertility aspects as well. So after you have worked up the cause, then you can tell them that they can possibly go for whether they can go for a donor, whether they're suitable for pregnancy, right? So yes, certain special populations, postmenopausal breast cancer survivors or a premenopausal breast cancer survivor who is on tamoxifen or letrozole. Now here for VMS also we can't give systemic MHT, so we have to think about non-hormonal alternatives like therapeutic lifestyle management, relaxation, sleep hygiene, or the SNRIs. For GSM, low or ultra low dose LET local estrogen therapy can be given in consultation with oncologist. And for osteoporosis prevention, it's TLM, calcium, vitamin D, then raloxifene or bisphosphonates, right? So commonly IV is the lendronic acid 4 mg every 3 to 6 months is given for about 2 to 5 years. There are other preparations as well which are given annually. Cost increases and those things can be discussed with the patient. Then what are some of the common side effects? There can be fluid. What to expect? Patient को लगेगा एक चीज आपने treat की और maybe दूसरी is developing. So just warn them a little bit on fluid retention, bloating, breast tenderness, headache, mood changes, cloasma, which can be partly protected by using adequate sunscreen, and sometimes unscheduled bleeding can happen. Then these are the major risks which have been seen. So in the Women's Health Initiative study, number of excess events on hormone therapy versus placebo per 10,000 women per year. So barely like VT by 4 in estrogen only arm, E plus P rather increased to 11. Stroke, only 1 extra case, 4 extra in E plus P arm. Breast cancer, E alone did not have an effect. CVD, E alone did not have much effect. But yes, when progesterone was there, breast cancer increased cases by 5 per 10,000, and for CVD also more number of cases. So there were two studies on which the current guidelines of MHT are sort of based. So the Nurses Health Study, it was an observational. It suggested cardiovascular benefit, lower chronic disease risk with HRT, and initially this was what drove the early enthusiasm for HRT, but it was an observational study, you see. So that is why the next study was done as a randomized controlled trial, which is the Women's Health Initiative. But it showed more of important risks like more cardiovascular disease, stroke, VT. So then one of the arms was actually prematurely terminated because they thought that they are having so many problems with increased risks. But then when secondary analysis was done, it was seen that in many patients were like more than 60 years or more than 10 years from menopause. So that is where came the concept of age and timing. जब subgroup analysis किया गया, तो it was seen that if it was given in the proper window of opportunity, then the risk factors were not so changed. So then again, this brought in the importance of the right age, right woman. So finally, this is something which you have to remember when you are going to offer HRT to any patient. So you talk about the purpose, why you are giving it, okay? Then benefits have to be explained, risks have to be discussed, especially the VTE part. Then the breast cancer issues have to be discussed. The lifestyle factions which will contribute. So patient has to ensure कि ये साथ में करना है, ये नहीं कि अब दवाई शुरू करती है तो they can forget about it. So this lifestyle has to be there. Some of the minor side effects, right? And the patient can you give them also responsibility that they have to report new symptoms, attend the follow-ups as advised, and inform if they wish to stop therapy. So okay, so this kind of hormone therapy consent form, if it's there in your OPD, it can be very helpful for you also to counsel. You won't forget any point. The patient will also have read the things, and it is easy to assess the eligibility as well. Right, so this is about it for today.